I ask for the truth on behalf of Pawan Jumani concerning relationship issues. Just broken up at the moment and wonders what life has to offer for the future. Will this too pass, or what's going on there? Ask in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the truth always. And we just cut the deck like so, and then we place the cards just over here to the side. I'll deal out 3 cards. The first card we deal is in the possession of the recent past. You could call that the recent past influence, couldn't you? Whereas the next card is the present, so we'll call that the present influence. And then the immediate future, that's the immediate future influence there. So of course we've like a timeline, isn't it, like Facebook, Twitter or whatever, or your diary. Either way, the recent past and the immediate future are about a moon phase behind and a moon phase ahead, sort of indicating that about a month, about 28 days or so, 3 or 4 weeks or so either way. 3 or 4 weeks or so in the past, of course. I suppose you can establish the situation by just flipping the first card over nice and slowly, not to disturb its energy, just out of respect for spirit, and just seeing what energy was there just recently. You got the Sphinx. It's got a bit of an Egyptian sort of sense to it there, hasn't it? If you can see, and that sort of indicates as though just recently you've been having to choose your words wisely. You've been having to be careful what you say. I got a sense as though you've been walking on eggshells with somebody in case an argument starts. The slightest thing you say, it's picked at and got at, and that's really, I think, what's caused the split, hasn't it? You can't seem to be saying right for saying wrong. It's just as if whatever you try and do, it hasn't satisfied them in some way. Of course, the wings on the Sphinx symbolise the movement of messages, like the wings on an angel, and of course whatever you've said has travelled and gone around, so you have to be careful what you do say either way, because it does come back to you eventually. From a karmic sort of point of view. But either way, let's just see what is going on right now, because that's more important, I suppose, than anything, because you can't define yourself by what you did then. You can only define yourself by what you're doing now, which is what? Well, the king, I suppose the king is a member of the royal court, and of course he can symbolise a man in your life in the sense he can symbolise you, given the fact that you're the male figure, maybe a figure of authority, a figure nevertheless diplomatic, reasonable at the same time right now, but maybe unless there's been a brush with the authorities, I don't know. Maybe is that the reason why you've had to watch what you say with the other half, and she sort of got at you about it. I don't know. But either a sense that this is more you, this is you, the king is you somehow, and you're the one with the authority right now, regardless of the fact that you've split up, and regardless of the fact that you had to walk on eggshells with everything you said. Nevertheless, you hold the purse strings. You're the one who is able to, I suppose, earn a living and bring money in for the household. She's the loser in this. I don't know why. Let me just, I suppose, just get that from that, with it being the king there, and it representing you and having the authority. Let's just though see what a touch of darkness there as we flip over that next card. The energy of the siren, just indicating that a temptation will lead you astray, or may lead you astray in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so. You may find yourself lured into doing something that's not in your best of interests. Maybe either finding somebody else, or even if the temptation is the temptation to yes, reconciliation is always commendable or respected, but nevertheless, is it in your case not the wisest thing to do, and it's tempting to just reconcile regardless, to try again? Respectable, but not necessarily very wise. In this sense, of course, the siren lures the sailors to the rocks and wrecks the ships, doesn't he? Or don't they? In the sense of their songs, and whatever song you will be hearing between now and this time next month will be a very tempting one. A very what is that? A tempting song, as if somebody's trying to get you back. As I get a sense as though she might be using words to get you back. You've had to be careful what you say, fear of walking on eggshells, but nevertheless, it seems that anything she says will lure you back, and maybe that's not in your best of interests. There's a touch of darkness there going on. I sort of sense as though I want to pull another card here for you there, if you don't mind, because I just want to see, just feels there's some, you know, when you get that feeling as though something's been left unsaid. Let's just see around about what happens around about November. Of course, October is the temptation, but November, of course, is the spider. The spider spirit represents creativity, and of course, in this particular case, it's more about being meticulous, being patient, just being careful, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Just make sure everything is checked. You check if you do fall for that temptation, make sure you check everything. Make sure if you sign before you sign anything, or whatever it is, any paperwork, before you sign on the dotted line, just be a bit more meticulous. Just check it over, see if there's anything hidden in the wording or anything like that that could imply that it's your fault, or that could imply this or that, or anything that could basically put your foot in the shit without knowing it. If somebody's maybe luring you back to sort of, or even luring you away to somewhere else to sort of get you in the shit. It could be a friend of hers who's trying to maybe get you to admit to something, or get you to sign to something. I don't know. Just be careful. Pay attention to detail and what's really going on here, because this looks a bit of a warning. With it being next to the siren there, it's warning you just to be extra careful, and for as much as you may have the upper hand now, in a way, nevertheless, there are those who want to lure you to the rocks so that your ship will wreck, and maybe I sense a touch of revenge. Somebody's out for revenge, maybe, with the darkness coming up. But there is a dark period for November, October and November, correction. So let's just hope that you can spin your web and catch them out, and all you got to do then is just sit and wait for them to fall into your trap instead of them trying to catch you. So you can turn the tables on them, can't you? And that's what I feel you've got to do. If you do it, that's up to you. But for now, the truth has been spoken through these cards.